Hey guys, welcome back to Behind Moriah. I'm here with Drew Bolin. And Drew, so this is gonna go way back. What's the first thing that brought you to Moriah?
Well, I was born at Moriah, not physically born at Moriah, but my parents and my grandma Judy have been coming here ever since I can remember.
And so have you, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's right.
All right.
I've been here.
So
Back when the current stage was our whole sanctuary.
Yes. We came when we were in the fellowship hall. That's when we started.
Mm-hmm.
Those were fun days too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is going to be an interesting question. So after you got here from your remembering stages, okay,
Yes.
what's the first thing that you were like, this is so cool about church?
Just I think it was just a second home. I mean, it literally was another place that I just always went to, always was around, all the people that were there. I don't know if I recognized it back then and appreciated it back then, but looking back on it, it's like everybody there was family, legitimately brothers and sisters, like with the Gas family and back in then.
And what's awesome is how that's carried through like this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Because like even the people that are, have come within the last couple of years, like they feel that.
Yes.
And it all started like back with like your grandma
Mm-hmm.
Judy, like way back then. So that's awesome. All right,
Always
so
feels like family.
it does. And what's awesome is like I'm raising my kids here, you're raising your kids here, like they're gonna get that too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like especially our kids, with us being in the praise band, like they want to go up on the stage now. So
James
we just gotta
every single Sunday once we get on those drums.
It's like, okay, pull them back, but don't pull them all the way back because we don't want them to
Right.
think it's, oh, you can't go up there. You know what I mean?
They want to be interested in it
Yes.
and think it's cool and think
Yes.
it's something that they want to do.
Okay, so what is your favorite Bible story?
Favorite Bible story, I don't know, what just impacts me the most is actually affected me making my faith my own. So since I was raised here in church, I went to Sunday school every single Sunday and heard all the stories and learned about this guy named Jesus. And really the story of the crucifixion is impacted me the most, because we did have a gentleman come to Moriah for a revival, and he just broke it down verse by verse, talking about the amount of suffering that Jesus actually put on his own shoulders.
Yeah.
And just hearing that broke my heart, and like it made it real to me. And learning, Jesus is fully God. So at a moment's notice, he could have snapped his fingers. Yep. Angels would have saved him. He could have just, beam me up, and then he'd be up and he'd be fine. But he chose to suffer all of that for me out of love. And that's what made Jesus' love, like, it just opened my eyes. And made it real.
With the crucifixion story, it's like all the beating and everything that he took is like this terrible thing, but he was mocked the entire time too, mm-hmm. which is, I don't know, it just adds that extra, salt on top of it. It's just, yeah.
And that's one of my biggest ministries that I love to help out with at camp. Whenever I was a counselor, like anytime a speaker for the week would come and touch on the crucifixion, I try to do that with my campers too, just because it impacted me so much. I try to break it down. Like, Jesus legitimately just was tortured.
Yeah.
And it was all for you.
Yeah. And you're like, so you should build this, baby.
That's right.
Because I definitely do. All right. So going off of that, what is your favorite Bible verse?
Well, you and I were talking before, trying to think of one, and to go along with the story. And I know it's one of the more, new Christians kind of get the Romans road kind of thing, but Romans 5:8, right? But God shows his love for us, and that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. So, we deserve death. We turned our back on him. We sinned against him, but his love just overrides all of that. And it was because of my sin, because of my nastiness, that he had to go through all of that. And it just, reiterates, kind of puts all of that in one nice little verse there, that while we were still gross, he chose to suffer for us.
Yeah. And those verses are one of those that like you said, it does break it down, and especially in a youth context, it's a little easier to kind of get, you know what I like, oh, yeah, I mean, you know how, like, I've always done the thing where you're like, all right, feel on your wrist, you feel that bone right there? And like, that's where they did, and you're like, oh, and then you're like, but look, in the Bible, this is what it talks about, you know, and even breaks it down into these nice, small pieces where they're super digestible as well, so, yeah.
And it always comes back, one of the things that guy at the revival poked at was, you know, before he was beaten, when he basically put all of our sins on his own shoulders, like when he legitimately basically was separated from God, like saying, you know, take this cup away from me, if it be your will, you know, that sort of thing, like that weighs heavy on me too. It's just the spiritual and emotional toll that, you know, outside the physical part, which is absolutely terrible.
And that just, I mean, that shows the human side of it, right? Like, fully human and fully God at the same moment. Like, that's where the human moment comes in. It's like, I couldn't, if I knew that I was going to have to die, like, oh man, and you knew that there was a way out, and an easy way out, not like a hard thing, because you didn't deserve any of what's about to happen. And you're like, well, God, are we sure? Dad, is this what we want to do right now? Yeah, 100%. Yep. All right, so kind of lightening it up a little bit. We're going with our not rapid fire questions.
Okay.
What's your favorite candy bar?
Candy bar, I usually lean towards the Reese's category. I like the Reese's cups and the sticks. Fast Break is really good, but not necessarily a candy bar. I love Starburst, especially the Fave Reds. Like all of the red Starburst.
It's just all red and pink.
Yes. They actually, like, I wished that when I was a kid. Like,
yes.
I just wish it was all the red. I don't want the orange or the yellow.
And they waited until we're adults. Where we can't eat that many of them. Yep, I know.
But that's a treat. I like the Fave Reds.
Yep. Awesome. All right. So Pepsi. If you had to choose one, Pepsi or Coke?
It'd go with the Coke category.
Coke. All right. If we moved away from pop, what would it be?
Just beverage in general?
Yeah, just beverage in general. Or water. I mean.
Yeah, water. Mara's starting to get me used to LaCroix and bubbly. So I'm starting to like it. I didn't think I was gonna like it at all, but I'm getting kind of attached to it. But I do like Powerade and Gatorade and that sort of stuff. I'm not much of a water guy, even though I should be.
Everybody should be, because it's supposed to be like, you're supposed to drink in ounces half of your weight, which is too much water.
So that's a lot of water.
Oh, that's a lot of water, man. I would just be walking around. All right. So what's scarier, a snake, a spider, or a bat?
Oh man, I feel like I've faced all three, and I'm jumpy. It's not like I'm deathly afraid, but I don't like to be caught off guard that there's one there. And
all three of these are terrible things, especially. All right, we're not talking about we're talking about like a spider, you know.
I feel like I would eliminate snake because I think I could kick it or outrun it. It's not something that just is unpredictable.
Okay, the blue racers. Have you ever seen those? So they poke their head up, and if you look at them, they just hold still. But if you start going away from them, they follow you. Yeah, I know, something to put in the back of your head.
That snake's not here. That's not in the category.
All right. We're moving that snake out of the category. So
I feel like just with experience, it'd probably be if it was a bigger spider, I'd go spider, but probably bat because it's unpredictable.
It's unpredictable. It's so yeah.
I watched that Office episode where Dwight puts the bat over Meredith.
as they've heard though, like at the school, because it's such an old building, like there's bats all and I could kill 1 billion spiders. I could probably take care of a snake if I need to, but the bats are I chase them around with a tennis racket. Sorry, animal people, but they're pests and vermin. And you would hate it if you're a teacher and you walk in your class and you turn on your lights and there's a bat flying around, they would flip out. So
we, whenever I was younger, me and my buddy Brady, he had a pool in his backyard, and when it would get a certain time of evening, when it would get darker, We had, I think they were the squeezy ball pool toys. Maybe something a little bit smaller, but if you would toss it straight up in the air, I think that they just read that was a bug or something that they were going to eat, and they would go straight down and bounce off the water and freak out and shoot up and everything. So we did that a little bit. But it was, as soon as we threw it up, we'd jump down and we'd dive down and we'd have goggles on to see if a bat would skip on the water.
What would you have done if you landed in the water?
Oh, I would have.
Drew's like, I'm out.
I would have jumped.
What's worse than a bat? A bat swimming. Although less predictable.
It's true.
So, all right, mountains or ocean?
Oh man, just looking at it.
Yeah, being there, hanging out, whatever.
So I would probably say, I'm just in awe of the ocean. We just went to Vero Beach, not too long ago, and there's a spot at the Disney resort we stay at where it's just nothing but water. You see the edge of the earth, and during the day I just think that's beautiful. But I see all the mountains and that sort of thing. I've been out to Colorado. I think I like mountains more, and why I say that is when it starts to get darker. I like the opposite of claustrophobia when it gets dark. If I were to stand out there and just see the vast ocean and it's dark and you just hear the waves crashing, for some reason it just gives me the eerie creeps. That's just a wide open dark area, and that's not as fun. Where mountains, I think both of them are great.
They are. It's really actually a really tough question, especially if you've seen them both. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I've never seen mountains, so obviously ocean," or "I've never seen the ocean, so." All right, are you a morning or a night person?
I'd say night. I can stay up way past my bedtime, but usually it bites me in the butt for the morning. So maybe if I was a little bit more responsible in the evening, I could be a morning person.
I don't think it matters. If you stay up too late, yeah. All right. Favorite season?
It's probably a lot of people's answers, but I'd go with the fall. High school football season.
Just football in general, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Mid-September to all the way through November. Perfect.
Up to next Thursday, and then you're I'm done.
Which is my birthday today. So
right.
This is towards the end.
Yes.
My birthday. Maybe get some extra cash and have Black Friday. That's the
I didn't realize, dude, that always worked out for you, didn't it? You're birthday, what do you want for your birthday, Drew? You're just cash.
That's right.
So I can go get my $199 TV.
Everybody's always you always want to go out at midnight on Black Friday. What do you want to do? I got some cash. I want to spend it. That's a good deal.
That's hilarious. Now, I didn't go that way and pick around my birthday, because my birthday is July 3rd, and it's so hot. Mm-hmm. Although, the next morning they have a parade for me. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They waited until the next day. I always tell my kids that. I'm like, hey, for my birthday, tomorrow we're going to shoot off fireworks. All right. So
there's a couple times a year that my birthday, a couple years every 5 or 6 that my birthday falls on Thanksgiving. So we just have a feast.
You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome for the Yep. All right. So favorite pizza.
Okay, so toppings are
go both. What's your favorite pizza and then favorite pizza topping?
What's my favorite pizza? I'll go topping.
Okay.
I'm boring and bland, so it's usually just plain pepperoni. There's that pepperoni lovers pizza, at Pizza Hut, where it's just coated with pepperoni. I'm not that much of a fan.
In between, you want some cheese in there.
That's right. Yep. So a little bit of extra cheese. As far as favorite place, man, it's you can't go wrong with Monocle's.
Never can.
I could get an entire large by myself, and I just would lose myself and just end up eating it all.
So Bryson's a big pepperoni guy, but at Monocle's he prefers the ham. Because they use actual ham, not Canadian bacon. So yeah.
Mara's, whenever I started dating Mara, she always liked to go to Monocle's, but she would get hamburger, not the cheeseburger with the McMustard, but it would just be ground beef instead of sausage. And her and I think she shared that with her grandma Helen. And I started getting used to that because we just would get one large and get the topping she liked. So
And I don't know if you can tell, but we like cheeseburgers, so
very much so.
So you kind of get I mean, you don't need when they replace the sauce with ketchup and stuff like that. It's like, no, you're getting weird. Just give me a hamburger. If that's what
I've had one where they put mustard and ketchup as the base, like mixed together.
Yeah.
Cheeseburger pizza. Yeah. Just don't put onions on the pizza. You know, sometimes we get the barbecue or the barbecue chicken pizza.
When they do that, why? I have never. When you get barbecue, you don't put onions on barbecue.
No, they always put onion on the pizza, and then Mario's just like, just get it the way I want. Like, no, I'm gonna be picky. If you want the onions for some weird reason, we will get them on half. No.
I love that that's the thing though. That they're like, every pizza place ever, especially now the apps. Everybody has an app. You can click half. Like you can split your pizza. It's like, you know, we're going to keep from people from getting divorced, and we're just going to do half pizzas.
Exactly.
All right, Drew, thank you for your time, and we'll see you guys later.
No problem.